Hey guys, welcome to the Empire. We're your hosts, Ashley
and Christian Lewis.
So, okay, back on track. No. I like it. Well, hey guys, welcome to another podcast episode with Lewis Empire 6. We are so glad you are here with us today. I am Ashley Lewis. I'm here with my amazing husband,
Christian Lewis.
Hey, babe.
What's up? How you doing, girl?
Doing good. We just celebrated 18 years of marriage, y'all.
Yes. We celebrated like the best of them sleeping.
Not gonna lie, it's a busy season for us. We usually try and do like a special trip or a getaway. This year it didn't happen, but we did sneak away for dinner only for our oldest daughter to text us to let us know that one of our children was currently vomiting.
Yeah. So we had to hurry home.
Kind of. We were like, you got this, babe. We'll be home soon.
I know. I felt that probably like eternity to her. So
Yeah.
she was like, he's vomiting. Da, 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 da. I was like, okay, put him in the shower. We'll be home in a second.
Yes, it turned out good though. She did a good job. If you follow us on social media, on TikTok and Instagram, Facebook, you currently know that our ASD child Presley is obsessed with purple right now.
Yep, it's a purple era.
It's her purple era. And so I made a discovery this week that she has a perfect day at school. She listens really well and she uses all her words if I send her to school in purple tights.
Yes.
So like I'll put a little jean skirt over them or some shorts. And then they're like, she had a perfect day. And I was like, it's the purple.
Cheat code unlocked.
Cheat code unlocked. I'm like, oh girl. So we did have a lot of our followers send us tons of purple tights. So I'm like, she's wearing these every day.
Yeah. She looked cute today.
She did. We got to, dress it up, make her look cute in those purple tights. But she be feeling herself and then she listens at school. So
yeah.
Go us.
Go us.
So today...
What are we talking about, babe?
Today we're going to hit on the topic of parenting guilt. And I think that every parent deals with parenting guilt in general, but especially when you are parenting a special needs child. There is a new level. Yeah. There is a heavier weight that comes with all the things you think that you should be doing or shouldn't do if you're going to ruin their life. And so I want to dive into that because that is a very real thing.
Yeah.
How this topic came about is last week, and I don't even know why you asked me this. Maybe you can let us know. But you asked me, we were driving, and you said, I have a question for you. And I said, yes. What is it? And you said, how often do you deal with guilt? Like in general?
Yeah.
And I thought it was an interesting question. And I said, currently, I have learned to set it aside because I think years and years of my life and parenting and being a people pleaser and trying to be the best parent and wife and even like in my faith, Christian, I was like, I've just literally dealt with guilt my whole life. And I think a few years ago when I turned 40, I was like, I'm done. I literally don't have the emotional capacity to feel guilty about anything else anymore. I've spent a lifetime feeling that way. And then I said, well, what about you, babe? I was like, do you even deal with guilt?
Yes, a lot. And here's the deal. There's certain levels of it. And I think parenting guilt is probably up there for me because I'm always questioning if I'm doing things right because I didn't grow up with, the most present father. And so, I'm trying to put it all together and piece it all together. I think when we were talking over food. And so I was like thinking about my food choices and going, golly, why did I do that? And then I was just like, dude, I think I subconsciously guilt myself on a lot of things.
Wow. Still currently, And you just turned 40, so you're still...
Just throw my age out there. Thank you, babe.
I threw my age out there.
No, you did.
I'm way older than my babe.
You put a range. It was a
cougar
range.
here. Range, sorry.
I'm just joking.
I'm late 30s. We can't say that. So 40.
No, I can say early 40s. Late, that is. No, but it came through that. I was just thinking about like, dude,
So what are
It's,
some areas that you deal with guilt? Okay, so you're saying your food choices. We're
Yeah.
currently trying to get our life together with our health.
yeah,
So, okay, health.
because we're foodies.
Yes.
I think health, definitely in the dad area, husband area, always. Just,
Aw.
well, it's always there because it's like, am I doing enough? Because we see each other, but we don't see each other sometimes. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, because we're raising 4 humans.
and trying to,
And they take over everything.
and trying to raise an adult is crazy, right?
Yeah.
So we have a 17-year-old.
Yeah.
And,
And she's fabulous.
she is incredible.
She's like dealing with adult decisions and adult things. And so it's not just a like, here's a snack, go take a nap. It's like, okay, let's process, let's get into the weeds of this thing. And it's an ongoing processing.
Well, it's like adult things in the sense of handling relationships and handling, when you feel like, you've put yourself out there and, your friends are not reciprocating those types of things, dealing with geographical things of like, hey, our culture is this, where we come from. And, California culture is just different than,
Very different.
Georgia culture. So just little things like that. And, so then that rolls kind of into the parenting guilt and like making sure that she has all of the tools. And a lot of times, you're not going to be perfect. So the space to feel guilty can come in. And
Yeah. That's good. I think I grew up a performer. Not that I wasn't real. I just learned how to perform because I grew up in the arts,
Yeah.
right? So I always felt like there was this bar. And then I grew up in the church.
When you say arts, what do you mean?
So I grew up a ballerina.
Okay.
And
And what else did you do for the people that are listening?
What else?
She would never say this. She was a kid model.
oh my gosh. And I was in pageants.
She had the JCPenney ad. There's a picture.
How are you going to throw me
there's
out
some
there?
pictures out there.
There's some child of the 80s in a JCPenney catalog. It's not becoming. Maybe one day when we're cool enough to have show notes, I'll put things in there like that. But y'all, we just starting. Yes, so I grew up in that. And as a child, I loved going to church. And I think there's a level of guilt and pressure you put on yourself of like, I wouldn't necessarily say performing, but being the best devout Christian that you can be, because I didn't want to be fake and I never wanted to be a hypocrite. So there's just all these pressures. And then I think, unfortunately, fortunately, I have an amazing girl crew around me who I love. But along the way, unfortunately, there's just women that add their own thing. Then you're dealing with your own guilt and comparison, and you're trying not to compare. I mean, I remember as a young mom seeing these moms that were like super moms to me. And I just was like, I don't know if I could ever be that.
Yeah.
And I think people do message me and they're like, you're a super mom. And I'm like, whoa. Don't like, thank you for the compliment. But
Yeah, because it's a term of endearment. I'm sure they're not thinking you're picking up, cars and stopping, running at the speed of light.
picking up, yeah, I'm like Mrs. Incredible. I have like a really big butt.
You
and I
are
like,
Mrs. Incredible.
stop. Okay, let's keep it G.
I think my goal is to always make you blush at least once on these.
Okay, done.
Oh my gosh.
Well, I wanted to go back to when Presley was born and she got her diagnosis. And yes, I think as parents, we deal with guilt. As humans, we deal with guilt. How can we be better? But I really started thinking about my journey with Presley, and the guilt just sometimes was crushing of me. Like, am I really equipped to be her mom? And like, how can I think the early years, you're like, how can I fix this?
Yeah.
How can I fix her? How can I make this better for her? And like, I don't know what I'm doing. Every parent doesn't know what they're doing, but then add an ASD child in the mix and you're like, I really don't know what I'm doing. But I went back to the memory of when she first got her diagnosis, and instantly, can you guess what the guilt was when I got it?
That you didn't know? What it was sooner? What do you mean?
I went back to my pregnancy.
Oh yeah, I do remember this.
At the conception.
And it was insane.
I went back. oh my gosh, I did this to her.
Yeah.
Again, there wasn't a lot of awareness around the topic, but
Yeah.
I thought that I caused this in her. First of all, I worked my whole pregnancy. I taught dance, so I enjoyed it. But in some corner of my mind, I thought I pushed it too hard.
Yeah.
I did something. Secondly, I remember we were very poor in these early years of marriage. Those were the fun years, though.
Yeah.
And I remember a family member gave us some old furniture, and I was like, we either don't have furniture or I can like refinish this furniture and make my house
Yeah, I
really
do
cute. And
remember
I was
this.
nesting, and it wasn't a big piece of furniture, but I refinished it.
This was back when like refinishing first showed up on the scene. Every mom, bro, was out in the garage.
I
like,
was refinishing that
goggles,
furniture.
chainsaw.
And can I be honest? Even after refinishing, the furniture was still ugly.
It still didn't hit. It wasn't hidden.
It
But I
was
was
not-
like, oh, cool, babe.
But I was so proud of it. I was like, wow, we got this for free, and I made it even cuter. It was hideous, and now it's just ugly. And our
You
whole
should have
house,
just lit it on fire at that point.
I
Like,
mean, our whole house was full. No, but in my like little mom heart, like first starting our family,
No,
I
it's
thought it was gorgeous.
it was a great like,
Gorgeous.
gesture. Yeah.
So literally for years, I would say 10 years, I'm like, I refinished that furniture. I probably breathed in some fumes, and I wasn't even using paint or anything. It was like the stain, and it wasn't even that bad, but I
Yeah.
was like, this is why. And then, I mean, I would still would say up until a couple years ago, I still thought it was due to the furniture. And really now there's more research out, and it's not due to that. And then, I also thought when she was younger, her vaccinations, there was all this talk around that and
Yeah.
causing that. And I just was like, oh my gosh. So then it kind of scared me. I didn't give any of my kids vaccinations for a little while, and came back around full circle. But every decision that I had made during my pregnancy in the early years of Presley, I'm like, I caused her to have delays and ASD.
And I just, first of all, wanted to let you know, like, I never had those thoughts ever. I was like, and when you brought the like, I was finishing, the furniture in the garage, I was like, that is insane. Absolutely
Well, you always
not.
reaffirmed me it wasn't, but I couldn't receive it. I was like, nope, it was that. Like, thank you, honey, you're the best. But I know it was because I refinished
the
that.
furniture.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the deal is this, like, I hearing you talk is just like, even now, I'm like, I feel so like my heart breaks for moms out there that probably are going through or have gone through those same kind of thought processes. And it's just like, that is just furthest from the truth. That's just not.
If you're listening out there and
Yeah.
you've carried guilt by a decision
Let
that
it
you've
go.
made during your pregnancy or those early years or what
Let
you
it
did,
go.
let it go. It
Yeah.
was not your fault.
Yeah.
There's nothing that you could have done.
Yeah.
And you probably did everything right. The
Mm-hmm.
fact that you're even carrying guilt, you're a good mom. You're a good dad.
Yeah.
Like pressing through with that.
Yeah.
I remember Presley in those early years, we did early intervention, and that's when they would have therapists come to our house. And can I tell you how freaking overwhelming that was? I mean, it was like Monday was speech. Tuesday was like OT.
Yeah.
Wednesday was physical therapy.
And you
then
had
we
to be there. Like, imagine having to work jobs and, like, again, she alluded to us being, poor and stuff like that. I mean, it wasn't like we were poor, but we could not like go out to restaurants and stuff like that.
Right.
We were eating at home at every meal and all that sort of stuff. And we had to work, like we really had to work. And so, trying to work out schedules to be available for that type of stuff it was hard. You know what I mean?
And then even feeling guilty about that. Like, I remember the doorbell would ring and the speech therapist would come, and Presley hated speech. She would scream the whole time.
Yeah.
And the guy would still go through his little spiel. Presley, which one's the pig? And she would just be like, "Rah!" And I would look at him like, okay, you and I both know we're getting nowhere. So why do we still have to do this?
Yeah.
But he came twice a week. And sometimes he would show up early. And I'd be like, yo, you can't just drop in my house early, 30, 45 minutes early. Like I'm trying to get my life together. My kid is screaming and I'm trying to prep her for speech. But even feeling guilty of like just not even, I felt guilty that I didn't even want the therapist there. I just felt guilty of like, this is good for her. And I'm sitting here like, why do y'all have to come to our house? This is so much. I'm overwhelmed.
Yeah. It's like the feeling of like you want her to get the help, but then also like feeling like it's the advocacy is not going the way that you want it to. You know what I mean? Like the intervention is not going the way you want it to.
Yeah. It was like, is this even helping?
Yeah.
And so I remember one of our favorite therapists, I would just cry and pour my heart out to her. God bless you wherever you are. I can't even remember your name. But I remember she gave me this body brush that I had to brush Presley's body head to toe.
Brush.
It like basically stimulated her nerves. And I had to do it 5 times a day. 5 times a day with an ASD child who's sometimes screaming, sometimes not, right? And she was like, this is very important. Make sure that you brush her arms, her legs, her back, her stomach, her feet, her hands 5 times a day. Yo, to get 5 times a day in, like this is in the midst of having another child and I was pregnant with our 3rd child.
Yep. You're pregnant with England.
And so pretty much every day I would get to maybe 3. And I would go to bed like crushing guilt. I only got 3 in today. And you're the worst mom, Ashley. Like it's so simple. You only have to take this brush and brush her. It's so darn simple. Why can't you do it? You're a loser. Like Presley's not going to progress because you didn't do it 5 times. And it just compounded because every day it seemed like I couldn't get the 5 brushes in. And you were working all day. That was the season when you were out of the house all day. And I just felt so defeated.
And I think I can remember feeling that coming home, but trying to pull you out of it, it's hard because I'd been gone the whole time. So
Yeah.
like coming home and like, no, it's okay. Da, da, da. And it's like, no, if she doesn't have this, then da, 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 da. And
Well, I also didn't, early in our marriage, I didn't voice things like that.
I could feel it though.
I was so full of guilt that I just kept them internally. Now I'd be like, oh my gosh, I feel like a loser. And you would be like, you're not. And I'd be like, okay, I'm not. Go us. But back then, I think because I felt if I voiced it, I wouldn't be able to handle if you had said, babe,
You
babe,
are a loser.
you are. You would have never said that. But like, I don't think I could have been able to handle, even if you were like, well, hey, try and get 5 brushes in. I would have been like, hey, I'm a loser, I can't do it.
So what does all this come from? It has to come from our upbringing and like us trying to, there's already a stacked deck, I think, for parenting in general. Then you add in your own like kind of upbringing and trauma if there was any. And then I think having to go through the whole ASD challenges and figure that out on the fly. I mean, it was like we should have just gave ourselves a little bit of slack, but I think we were so like, we don't want to build a cycle. We don't want a cycle of like what we went through to kind of trickle down to our kids.
Yeah. I think too, there wasn't really ASD community. There wasn't awareness. We didn't have any other friends that had special needs kids. So I didn't feel like I could talk to anyone about it. And I think in parenting, you know, God does this cool thing where you're raising kids and they kind of find their own way.
Yeah.
And they kind of make up for like your mistakes or your like not knowing or your ignorance. And they kind of just evolve into these amazing humans. The same is for ASD child, but it takes longer. So when they're young and you don't do the things and you do have mistakes and you do have ignorance and they're not finding their own way, you are like, holy cow. I think it puts a magnifying glass on what you feel inside of you where you're lacking as a parent.
Yeah.
And it's scary.
Yeah.
And it's crushing. And
Yeah.
so I will go ahead.
I was going to ask a question unless you're going to wrap that section up. Okay. So IEPs in the guilt spectrum.
Oh gosh. IEPs, I think I blacked out. It was an outer body experience. I would just float somewhere else because they would be like, the goal for Presley is to say the number one. And it'd be like, sure, sounds great. Next. No, IEPs are a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
I don't even think as a young mom I even knew like you could get an advocate to go in and help. You have these resources to help you go in and fight for what you need. I didn't even know what Presley needed. If the teacher said she needed this, I was like, okay. And I always really did have a great relationship with her teacher. So I didn't feel like there was never a teacher that I was like, you're not giving my child what they need. They were giving our child more than what I could give. And so public school was good for her and she thrived in it. Yeah. So, but there is a level of IEP meetings that, first of all, they're way too long. And second of all, it's just hard to navigate the language early on of what's actually going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will say one of the most helpful things, going back to the favorite therapist I had, that I would vent to, I told her this, I asked her this question: what is the best thing that I could do for Presley? Because I knew I wasn't brushing her 5 times a day, but I wasn't going to tell her that. I'm like, but she would have said, brush her 5 times a day. No, I'm just kidding. I said, what is the best thing we could do for her? What will help her the greatest? And I'll never, ever forget what she told me. And I think we've based our parenting on this. She said, give Presley experiences.
Yes.
Give her an experience. And I didn't even know. I'm like, what do you mean an experience? Like, what? Like, is this like, what do you mean an experience? But through the years, I figured out what that was. You know, an experience can be as simple as a full-on birthday party with the balloons and the decorations and people we love coming over and celebrating her. That experience of that birthday gives her a memory, and she will always refer to her birthday.
And hitting on all senses, you know what I mean?
Yes, or a family trip, even if she doesn't look like she's engaged, like going maybe to Disney or to like the beach with our family, letting her feel the sand and letting her experience everything our other child does. And I look back and I say, that's kind of how this Lewis Empire, our family and how we parent came about. We're like, we are going to go all in with the experience. Doesn't have to cost a lot of money, but we're going to let her experience as much as she can. And what's funny, whenever we've had an experience like a family trip or a memory or something like a family competition, she always refers back to those and she'll always ask for them.
You hit the nail on the head when you said it kind of has created a culture in our family and our parenting that has, you know, opened the door to a lot more adventure, right?
Yes.
I didn't go on vacations as a kid, and so that was one of the things that I definitely wanted to do, but I think that this is like led to and more of an effort to be present in all of those types of things, you know what I mean? I know there is a speaking of the beach, there is a moment where my guilt was probably the highest.
Oh,
but I don't know if you want to talk about that.
the day we lost Presley, we lost our daughter at the beach and had to call the police and send out helicopters. Yeah, we're going to end with this. Talk about mom guilt, dad guilt. Oh my gosh. We're at the beach.
Yep.
All our kids are in the ocean. We're sitting right in front of them. We're looking at them. Yeah. Right? We have older children. We have younger children. They all keep an eye on Presley. She had a life jacket on, thank God. They're coming out of the water. I see them come out of the water. They're walking towards us. And in 1 second, Presley gets kind of disoriented and starts walking.
Because you know how the waves, they kind of carry the kids, and it's like every so often you're like, hey, get back, get back, get back. So that's what we kept doing, We kept seeing them. Continue.
So they come out of the water. I watch them come out of the water. And in 1 second, Presley turns to the left and starts walking down the beach. We don't know this at the time. The kids come back. I look, and then I go back to my sister was with us. I was talking to her.
We had 3 adults.
We had 3 adults. Yeah, talk about guilt. I was looking up Britney Spears videos about how crazy she was dancing. I'll never forget it, because when we realized we lost her, I was like, I will never watch Britney Spears ever again. Anyways, so the kids are walking towards us. We see them. They're getting out of the water. It's probably a good, I'm ashamed to even say, 10 minutes before all the kids are right with us. And we're like, where's Presley? Where's Presley?
Yeah, because they all kind of came up out of the water, started walking. I remember, because I was just chilling on the beach in my chair. So I was looking, and then I'd look away for 2 seconds and then look. And so then as they keep coming closer, one will stop and kick the sand or whatever, or play or talk to somebody on the beach or whatever. But yeah, I wouldn't say it's 10 minutes. It's more like 5. It took a while for them to kind of get back to us because they were lingering.
And let me say, Presley's not a child that walks away from our family.
At all.
She always stays very close. It's
Yes.
not like she has this tendency. She is always with us. She's always following. Like, she's always with us.
Yeah. And so they get back to our spot on the beach, which the beach was packed, so it was pretty far back. And we were like, where's Presley? Where's Presley? And everybody's like looking at each other like, what do you mean? She was right here, like da 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 da. And so
we then go to the lifeguard, who was probably like a 19-year-old kid, and we're like, hey, we've lost our kid. Can you like help us? And he kind of was like, well, dude, we gotta like wait for like at least, it's got to be at least 20 minutes.
No. Oh, 20 minutes. Okay. But there was another one that was like, it had to be a longer time. I was like, what are you talking about?
And what's funny about this story, you did not want to tell the lifeguard that she was a nonverbal, because she was nonverbal at the time, and nonverbal autistic child. Where I was like, she's nonverbal autistic. You were like, I don't want anyone to know, because if someone finds her, I don't want them to know that she's nonverbal and can be taken advantage of.
I was okay with telling the police that, but not some like 19-year-old lifeguard with no real deputy. They're not deputized or anything like that.
So we spread out. We're running around. We're going back to all our spots. We're going in the water. We're going down, to the right, to the left. We're going back to like the restaurant. We're going on the pier. I mean, we are freaking out. And I would say now 20 minutes has passed, 15 minutes.
It got to the danger zone.
It got to the danger zone.
I never, in all of my parenting, had the fear that I had.
Oh.
Never. Unmatched.
So we kept going back to lifeguard, and my husband was like, forget it. He calls the police. And you said, we have a nonverbal ASD child. Like, we can't find her. It's been a good 20 minutes. And
she never runs off. She never, it's not her thing. So I need to make sure that you guys get the message.
So you call the police. I couldn't even physically be there. I couldn't absorb the emotion and the fear and the panic and the guilt. So I just start walking in one direction down the beach. I just start walking, and I text 3 friends, and I said, Presley's missing. I need you to pray. I need you to pray right now. I didn't give any details. I walk. I kept visualizing being reunited with Presley, because I was not going to let myself go there. I knew she had a life jacket on, and that was the only sense of peace that gave me, okay, well, she's not in the water. I kept visualizing over and over, seeing her and going, Presley. And I just kept walking down the beach. And I walked, oh my gosh, probably almost a mile. But it
was a mile. For sure, a mile.
I couldn't be on the beach with everyone going, where is she? I just kept walking. And so I'm walking, I see the helicopters fly overhead, and I'm like, they're looking for her. Jesus, find her.
This was like a straight up movie. I mean, we're saying it like dramatic, but I don't know if we could even get into the zone of how like panicked we were.
People
And
on the beach are looking like
yeah,
they
at this
see
point,
the police are
yeah.
there, like everyone's looking. I dipped. I was like, I don't need anyone to come up and talk to me and say anything to me. I need to go visualize my daughter coming back to me, and I need to find her.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I kept saying inside of me, Presley, where are you? Presley, where are you? Presley, where are you? So I'm walking forever, and it's starting to creep in. I can't fully go there because I'm going to lose it. I'm starting to get the
What if somebody took her?
right.
Yeah.
And so as I'm walking, this police like what was
This
it?
is a golf cart.
A full four-wheeler like
Yeah, four-wheeler. That's what it
comes
is.
flying by, and then my husband's like, "That's my wife," and I'm like, "What?" And he said, "They found her," and
Get in! Get to the chopper!
I run in, and knowing you said they think they found her.
Yeah, I didn't want to say they found her.
So as soon as I heard that, I mean, I lose it. We roll up, and our ASD daughter is standing there looking so confused. She's with the police, and I'm like, Presley! I mean, my voice hit another frequency, and I mean, I run, grab her. I'm like, it's movie. I'm like,
Yeah.
heave crying, and she's looking at me like,
What's your
"Mom,
problem?"
what is up?" And she gets in the little golf cart. We go back. I'm like thanking the police, "Thank you so much." And we go back to the beach. Everyone's like, "You found her. Oh, congratulations." And I'm like, "Don't talk to me."
Everybody around our like beach setup was like clapping and stuff. It was
Clapping.
like it was a straight up movie, bro.
We left, and that was our family vacation. We
Oh
didn't
my
go back
gosh.
to the beach the rest of the week. I was like, "Forget the beach. Screw you, beach.
We hate you, beach.
We hate you." Dude, I went back. I slept with her in the bed that night. I was
Oh my
like,
gosh, I remember that.
Presley, we missed you. I'm like, "Where were you?" And then she eventually said, "Where were you?" And I was like, "Oh, the worst mom ever." So that's real parenting guilt. I still can't even revisit that memory without like, oh man. But the journey, how do you
Yeah.
get out of that? Sorry. I took a flashback there, but I think it's normal. And I think there's just so much grace in this parenting journey with having a special needs child. And I just want to say to whoever's listening, you do not have to be perfect.
Yep.
You're more than equipped to parent this child. You will never feel like it, but God chose this
chose
child to be in your family, for
Yep.
you to be their mom, for your spouse or partner to be their father, and it's meant to be. And I would say I shared the thing with the experiences because it took a lot of pressure off. Like we can get in the weeds of like ABA therapy and language development and all the things, but really the things that have unlocked Presley have been experiences with our family.
Yeah.
With laughing, with playing games, even if it looked like she wasn't engaged or understanding, but her being a part of this thing that's greater than her, this family that supports her and has her back, that has been the greatest thing that has unlocked her. And it's given me the ability to take the pressure off, because I'm like, oh, it's not really speech is helping, but it's not the thing that's unlocking her.
Yeah.
It's us celebrating her and doing family together.
Yeah. And as long as they are being seen by you, no matter how small or how great, that's a win, right?
Yes.
And so remember to see your child. Remember, like I said before, studying your child, knowing your child. That's the most important thing, right? And I think the experiences, and just continue to put one foot in front of the other, right? And don't let guilt hold you back from that.
Yeah.
You know? Every day is a reset. Every day is a reset.
Yes.
So.
I want to end with this moment that I had with Presley when she was first diagnosed, and I was processing what it means to have a special needs child. And like, I don't know how I feel about it. Like, this is like, what does this mean? What does our future look like? What does her future look like? How am I going to parent her? And I remember, it took a few months to kind of work through these emotions, and I did it internally by myself. And I just had this moment of like, it's okay. Like I had this final moment of breakthrough internally for me as her mom. Like, it's okay. If she has autism, it's okay. If she has something else, it's okay. Like, I'm okay with this. And the moment that I had this realization, like I had this breakthrough personally for me, I'm carrying Presley up the stairs to put her to bed. She's 18 months old. She showed no eye contact or engagement with me. And it was the day that I had this breakthrough. And as I'm carrying her upstairs, halfway up the stairs, she lays her head on my shoulder. It was the first time she engaged with me, like in an intimate way or even physical touch. And I stopped and I went, oh my gosh, she knows. She could feel the breakthrough internally in me, and that even my soul and my who I was reached out for more of her, and she felt that breakthrough. And it just showed me something about Presley. Like, she's not giving eye contact or physical touch, but she is so aware, hyper aware of what's going on in her and how I'm processing it. So that was also another breakthrough of like, when she came close to me, I'm like, oh my gosh, I would never doubt this child's discernment and her understanding the ability of what's going around her. Maybe not with words or phrases, but she knows. She can feel the energy or the shift or the love or support around her.
Yeah.
So just reminding you, you don't have to be perfect. Like he said, choose your child, lean in. And if you can, how your family celebrates, give experiences.
Yeah. Yep.
So we love y'all. I hope this episode makes someone out there feel a little less lonely.
And a lot more seen.
Thanks for being with me.
Absolutely.
Love ya.
See you guys.